Jr. And Chuck, tell us a little bit about your two-time and defending track champion behind him.
Well, Brandon Fouts has just been off the charts really for the last several years. He's a three-time winner of the Boone Coleman Memorial Gator 50, had another solid showing in that race last night, posting a top 5 finish, but just a great guy from Kite, Kentucky. He was very, very close with the late Jackie Boggs, and he has just really come into his own as a driver. He's had a lot of tough luck here this season, especially with engine problems, but he seemed to have all the bad luck behind him last night, and he's hoping to continue with what will promisingly be a good weekend for him.
Yeah, Tim Short Auto Group on the side of that car, the 81 car, Brandon Fouts out of Kite, Kentucky. Behind him in the Beeman Lumber, the Stricker Streak 68 car, Batavia, Ohio, the hometown of Adam Stricker. First full year in a late model. Boy, an impressive resume, Chuck, in a modified, but excited to see what he can do here tonight at PRP.
Oh, absolutely. He has been very, very strong in a modified for a number of years. Former winner here at PRP in that division. I don't believe he's ever claimed a checkered flag in the late models. Boy, wouldn't he love for that to change tonight?
Yeah, that could. I mean, this thing's wide open. $15,000 to win tonight. Entering turn number 1, three-time Lucas Oil champion, the Nutrient Ag Solutions ASC warranty, Martin Automotive entry. Out of Blairsville, Georgia, that'll be Jonathan Davenport. Jonathan Davenport in 49. Behind him, the Lucas Oil Pappage Construction 46. Four-time Lucas Oil champion, along with Jimmy Owens. And he is 40 career wins for Earl Pearson Jr. out of Jacksonville, Florida. Behind him in the Roth Heating and Cooling, Link Construction, PCC Motorsports entry out of Meridian, Mississippi. That is Spencer Hughes. Spencer Hughes in car number 11. Turn 2, well, we know that Seth Daniels, he's related to Jason Montgomery as well. Good to have the S21 here out of Jackson, Ohio. Boy, Jason Montgomery, he's still racing. I think he drove Kevin Lane's late model a few weeks ago. Seth Daniels, the Tim Adel Trucking. Wilson Excavating car S21 is our first group of hot laps. Dirt Draft hot laps for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series underway here at PRP. Who says Dirt Draft hot laps don't count? They do in the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. The top driver that has the most hot lap awards will get a cash award at our banquet coming up in December. By the way, Jonathan Davenport leads the Dirt Draft hot laps, the most fast hot laps, but not this time in this session. It's Spencer Hughes right now at 15,664 for the 11 for Craig and Shannon Sims. Well, what do you think about the Lemon Lime car? We talked about it a while ago. Tyler, the best performance, Anthony's Pizza car in that MB Customs entry.
I think it's really, really sweet. It jumps out at you. I mean, that just stands out. I really look forward to seeing it under the lights here once the sun sets a little bit later. But I believe he's going to sell quite a bit of merchandise with the picture of that car on there.
Did you see the Smokey and the Bandit theme he had earlier this year, right? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. How can you go wrong with that?
You can't. That's true. Tyler, 20 career wins in the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. There's the 99 car, the Show Me 100 winner. He's in the Lazy Days RV. C&W Trucking, Big River Steel entry out of Dresden, Ohio. That is Devin Moran. And tell us a little bit about Kirk Phillips behind him in the 21 car.
Oh, Kirk Phillips from Ashland, Kentucky has been running very, very well over the last couple seasons. Finally scored his first PRP feature win last year in 2022, and he has been right there on the cusp of getting another checkered flag this season, but he has been very consistent as of late.
See what he can do tonight. Garrett Alberson, the Nutrient Ag Solutions, Romer Machine and Welding, the Sea Valley Transportation entry, and the 76 car. He's in the Muscle Factory. Electrolyte, flavored water, out of Evans, Georgia. That is Brandon Overton behind him. In the Mega Plumbing of the Carolinas, Paler Motorsports 39, the two-time and reigning champion. Out of Watertown, New York, that's Tim McCready. Tell us a little about four-time track champion. Everybody knows R.J. Conley.
Well, he's having one of the best seasons that he's ever had, and that's a mouthful, as you alluded to already. A four-time track champ. He's the current points leader, looking for PRP title number 5. He has won 4 features already this season and had a great second-place finish last night in the annual Boone Coleman Memorial Gator 50. RJ's always a contender here, and they've got such sweet T-shirts available for him time you want to talk about merchandise, Bradley's Racing Apparel debuted this weekend. The picture of that throwback paint scheme honoring his late father, Dirt Late Model Hall of Famer Delmas Conley, is on that T-shirt along with this throwback paint scheme that RJ's sporting here tonight, as he has all season long.
Also outside, out on the track, Wheelersburg, Ohio's Josh Bocook and the Coddles Trailer Sales Worthington Signs entry. Brandon Overton, quickest in that group, 15.220. Now, I've had some questions asked, why is Brandon Overton entered in a number 4 car next week at Eldora? Here's the reason. Ed Basie, one of his longtime idols in dirt late model racing, having some health issues. Now, he did this, I believe, his last year, honored Ed Basie, who drove the number 4 car for many years. That's why he's entered as a number 4 car for next weekend at Eldora. Brandon Overton in honor of Ed Basie, one of his racing idols. There's the 7 car. In the Stokely Materials, the Frozen Farmer, Sandy car out of Georgetown, Delaware. That is Ross Robinson. Ross Robinson in car number 7. Also in this group behind him, in the 18D car, he led how many laps last night? Like 43 laps here last night. He's in the Grant Lee Farms, MG Auto Sales. James Riley phone car out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. That is Dalton Wilson. Dalton Wilson at 18D. Also on the track, the 111, the O'Reilly Auto Parts top rookie in the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, looking to pocket $20,000 in the excess storage. Briggs Transport, Murphy's number 111. That is Max Blair out of Centerville, Pennsylvania. Behind him, the 55 car, the Punisher chassis. That is Jesse Wisecarver. Jesse Wisecarver in the Altered Images MVHC Urgent Care Drainey-powered entry out of Zanesville, Ohio. Clint Keenan, the 29, out of Pataskala, Ohio. In this group of cars, he's in the Keenan Concrete, DeVoe Construction Kryptonite, and also Charlie Jude. Tell us a little bit about Charlie Jude headed to turn 3.
Yeah, Charlie Jude is from Inez, Kentucky, and he is pretty much a regular here at PRP. He's logged a lot of laps on this facility. Charlie's never gotten to winner's circle, but he has had many good runs, and it's always good to see him and his family roll in.
There's your 2019 track champion, Shannon Thornsberry. Tell us a little bit about the Martin, Kentucky hot shoe.
Oh, Shannon's such a good guy, and you know, he finally did get that title in 2019, which eluded him for so many years. He was so close for about 3 or 4 seasons, and finally in 2019 things fell his way, and that was a championship that a lot of fans were really happy to see because he worked so hard for so long to finally get it.
And in Dirt Draft Group 3, fastest is Shannon Thornsberry. They're the 17 car, 15.551. Chase Fronapple on the track, the 145 car out of Canal, Winchester, Ohio. And he is in the R&J Trucking and Hauling. Johnny Bootlegger. You know any bootleggers in your life, Chuck Greenslake?
Not that I'm going to openly admit.
You see Chase down there in turn number 1. Looks like he's going to need a push here in this group of hot laps. And let's see, we got everybody else out there. So Thornsberry right now the quickest in the 17 car in that Brandon Mason Trucking Worco Land Improvement entry. Longhorn chassis, Randy Cleary engine under the hood of that entry. As Fronapple, hopefully he'll be okay and come back out for time trials here momentarily. One more group after this. Good field. 31 cars here tonight. And it's going to be competitive. Who knows who's going to come out winning? How about Dalton Wilson right here? 43 laps last night. Mechanical issues. He led here, remember, last July, 4th weekend. He led for quite some time. Got passed by Thornton, and then it rained. Right? Remember that?
I sure do. Yeah, what a bummer that was for him. I mean, he's been so good here on so many occasions, just can't get to the finish. If some of the races he's participated in the past have been about 10 laps shorter, he would probably have 2 or 3 wins here.
Right. Second at Fairbury was one of his best finishes of his career, looking for his first career win. 17 different winners this year. The next time a new winner appears on the list, it'll be the 90th different winner in the history of the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. There's Charlie Jude. He has never won a Lucas Oil race. Longtime friends with the late Jackie Boggs in that CJ1. Yes, he did drive a CJ Rayburn car. Asked him earlier when he started his career. There's Ross Robinson, the Delaware hot shoe. Right now still Shannon Thornsberry, 15.551 here in this third group of Dirt Draft Hot Laps. And now Max Blair. Wait till Thornsberry crosses the loop there. And Max Blair in the 111. Now Dalton Wilson. Okay, Dalton Wilson gets it in the 18D, the JRR Motor Sales entry. Grant Lee Farms. MGL Auto Sales entry out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. That car owned by James Ratliff. By the way, and I think the cat's already out of the bag, they will have a tribute car. Now, they keep their car in North Carolina at Kemp Lamb's place, who Carlton Lamb, the Hall of Famer. They won the World 100 in 2006 with EPJ. They're going to have a Dunn Benson throwback next week at Eldora. It'll be number 1.
Awesome.
How about that? That's pretty cool.
That is very,
That's
very
pretty
cool.
cool. Carlton Lamb, one of the great guys ever that I've ever met, and such a joy to have been around him. We lost him a few years ago, and his son Kemp, and I know Wayne Castleberry, they're going to be making a trip to number 1 for next weekend at the World. There's another number 1, the blue and white one, the Valvoline Swaybird Calf Ranches entry. That is Hudson O'Neill, the winner last week at Port Royal. Currently second in the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series Championship point standings. He has 6 wins this year with the series. On the main straightaway, the 71R car. Tell us a little about Hot Rod Conley.
Well, Rod Conley is a former track champion here at Portsmouth Raceway Park in that Conley Racing family. Son of the late Delmas Conley, brother to 4-time track champ R.J. Conley, whom we saw a little bit earlier. Rod picked up a win here earlier this season, and the big thing about Rod, he's done a lot of work with his shock package. Rod is kind of known for trolling the bottom. He has been running up top most of the times he has visited PRP this season. That's the groove that he used when he won earlier in the year. That was also the groove that he used last night during the Boone Coleman Memorial Gator 50 that he rode to a 4th place finish.
Yeah, the Conley River Terminal 71 car, and he's branched out quite a bit this year. Of course, when he ran the Star Series, he was all over the Star schedule, and we've seen him branch out several times this year. 99B, Boone Briggs out of Bear Lake, Pennsylvania. There's the 89 car, 10th last week at Port Royal. That'll be Logan Robertson. Logan Robertson, an 89 car. The Gunners, Honey Clary's used cars. Masters built by MBE. The Broadneck Shaker Motorsports JC Clary car. There's your defending dirt track world champion. That is Garrett Smith out of Eaton, Georgia. The Terminal Maintenance Construction Atlanta Paving entry. Rocket Chassis, he is out of Eaton, Georgia. 19 years old, the youngest driver ever, won the DTWC last year. And the 13W with us here tonight. He's in the ORS Auto Body entry. Currently second of the Brownstown points by Jared Bailey. That is David Webb. David Webb, the Paul Crockett Memorial winner, Brownstown, Indiana, back in July out of Nicholasville, Kentucky in the 13W. Garrett Smith picking up where he left off here last year. 14.994. 14.994 in car number 10. So we'll have, coming up, we'll have time trials. We'll have the All-Star Performance Time Trials for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. That's 31 cars with us here tonight for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. Again, tomorrow, come on over. We'll be at Tyler County Speedway. Not all that far to go, Middleburn, West Virginia. The Hillbilly 100. That'll pay $30,000 to win tomorrow. Weather looks great. If you can't make it, it'll be live here on MAV TV on FloRacing. And then they'll have the World 100 next Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That'll be live on FloRacing from Tony Stewart's Eldora Speedway. As the limited late models coming up next, Chuck.
Yeah, the limited late models have been putting on some good shows all season long here at Portsmouth Raceway Park, and we've got a nice group of them here tonight. 11 entries, but 11 very good drivers and some really, really good equipment. Leading this first group out onto the speedway is Albert Butcher. He comes to us from Inez, Kentucky in car number 25. He's already made his way down into turn number 1. Ben Atkins going down the start-finish line, crossing the start-finish line, now heading into turn number 1. It's so good to see Ben Atkins here tonight. He's a former super late model track champ, longtime competitor in both the late model and modified divisions. Ben actually runs a body shop nearby in West Portsmouth, Cruise Collision Center. His father, Doug the Buzzard Atkins, is a 5-time modified track champ. So Ben, in his early 40s, he's basically grown up here at Portsmouth Raceway Park. He knows this place as well as anyone. Checking the A17 car, this is Alan Salisbury. He comes to us from Paintsville, Kentucky. That's down in cold country, about a 2-hour drive or so from Portsmouth. Good to have him with us tonight in the A17. Some other drivers we have in this division. In the 00, we have Dustin Booth. He is from Cross Lanes, West Virginia. Joe Brewer from Batavia, Ohio. He's driving the 33 car. Rick Stringer out of Wheelersburg. He is in the 26 machine. He is a former welding instructor at the Scioto County Career Technical Center, nearby vocational school for Scioto County, which Portsmouth lies within. He does a great job, still on staff there. His duties have expanded. He helps get the students jobs once they get their certification. So he is very, very important to this area and to our local vocational school. Jason Sammons, he's here in the 23 car. Glenn Booth Sr. out of Nitro, West Virginia. He is in the 00 Senior. That's the black, orange, and white car. That's over in turn number 3 at the moment. Good looking race car. We have Evan and Kevin Terry, the twins from Catlettsburg, Kentucky. Evan is a former track champion here at Portsmouth Raceway Park in the steel block late model division. As a matter of fact, he's a reigning track champ, a 2-time champion. His brother Kevin Terry, he is in the 97C. Kevin looking for his first PRP win. Evan captured a win here earlier this season. The limited late model division at Portsmouth Raceway Park, presented weekly by O'Reilly Auto Parts, a sponsor that has been linked to this class for many, many years now at Portsmouth Raceway Park. This particular division started as what was called the street stock class, and they had a much different look than what they do now, a very stock-looking car, and then rules were changed as time went on and these cars evolved dramatically. At one point, they had to be stock from the firewall forward, and then they could have the tubular chassis from the firewall back, and now basically these steel block late models are the exact same chassis as what the super late models are. The differences, of course, under the hood and tire size. Here comes group number 2 as we continue with hot laps for the steel block limited late model division. Mike Myers, he is in this group. There's the 97 car you see on the screen right now for those of you watching on MAV TV, presented on FloRacing. One of the Terry twins that I talked about a little bit earlier. And there is Mr. Brewer. He's in that 33B. Joe Brewer. He's from Batavia, Ohio. Mike Myers is in the green number 10, making his way off of turn number 4. He's a 2-time track champion. He was the winner here last night. Mike's had a little bit of a rough season here at Portsmouth Raceway Park. Missed a few races for some car issues, but good to have him back and good to see him back in winner's circle as he was last night. Brewer in that 33B, picking him up, putting him down, looking pretty smooth through the turns. That white 23 machine is driven by Jason Sammons. He's had a few visits here over the years. And Evan Terry in the 58 car, our defending track champ. He is a strong supporter of this division, not just as a racer, but as a sponsor. The owner of Premier Precast Products and Pickett Concrete. Those 2 businesses which he's a part of over the last several years have put up a lot of money for the steel block late model division. Helped the steel blocks participate in the Dirt Track World Championship the last couple years when it was held here at Portsmouth Raceway Park. His 2 businesses, Evan Terry's businesses, Premier Precast Products and Pickett Concrete, actually sponsored a big steel block race a little earlier this year, and lo and behold, that was the race that Evan won. So he captured a lot of his own funding and put it back in his pocket. But he is certainly a big-time supporter of the steel block class here at Portsmouth Raceway Park. Again, we've got 11 of them here tonight. We'll run a pair of 8-lap heat races for the limited lates. Here come the Sport Mods. Sport Mod division at Portsmouth Raceway Park has basically become a staple over the last few years. Leading this first group out onto the speedway in the 8D is none other than Stevie D. Thornsberry. She picked up a win here earlier this season, becoming just the 4th female to ever win a feature event at Portsmouth Raceway Park. Miles Cook Jr. making his way into turn number 1 in the 18C. He scored his first ever PRP feature win last night. He's been at it for a while, 2nd-generation driver. Family owns a Napa Auto Parts store in Wheelersburg, Halls, Napa. He would love to make it a back-to-back weekend here on Labor Day weekend at Portsmouth Raceway Park. This is such a special weekend here in the Portsmouth area. The namesake for the race, the River Days Rumble, comes from the River Days Festival, which is taking place in Portsmouth this weekend, as it has every Labor Day weekend over the last 60 years. It started in 1963. They have musical acts come in. Mickey Thomas is actually over in the Portsmouth area tonight performing, of Jefferson Starship fame. Had the Kentucky Headhunters there last night. They've got fireworks on tap for tomorrow, the city of Portsmouth does.
What about Grace Slick? Is she here?
I don't think.
Right? Wasn't she Grace Slick, right? Right, Jeff?
I believe
Grace
she
Slick
was.
and Mickey Thomas from Starship.
Yeah.
Well, there were Jefferson Starship.
Jefferson Airplane.
Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah, it's
like,
evolved.
It's like John Cougar.
Yes.
John Cougar Mellencamp.
John Mellencamp. Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, the general manager at the radio station where I work in Portsmouth has had to introduce them a couple times over his 50-year-plus radio career, and they are very picky and choosy. They don't want
Starship
that.
Or
Jefferson
Cougar?
Starship. Jefferson Starship.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not Jefferson Airplane. It is Jefferson Starship now. Yeah, that'll get you in trouble if you say the wrong thing.
What about the cigar ship, the cigar-shaped spaceship that Scott talks about?
Well, I think that's a story for another time. I believe Mr. Bloomquist would have to be the one to answer those questions.
Well, we miss him, and we hope he's back next year.
Yeah.
That would be so cool to see him back racing back in 2024. But, yeah, miss him at the track. Especially miss him next weekend right at Eldora. And there's Scott Bloomquist and Eldora Speedway go hand in hand, don't they?
Tell you what, it really does, and he kind of goes hand in hand with this facility as well. He still holds the late model track record here at Portsmouth Raceway Park, which he established on this Labor Day weekend back in 2018 with a time of 13.840 seconds. So he can get around PRP, he can get around Eldora, he can get around about any speedway that he decides to visit. The Sport Mod division has been with Portsmouth Raceway Park for about the last 6 years now. This division is not one of the original classes that was raced here at PRP. It was brought on to replace the Bomber division. The Bomber class was more of a stock class, and the thought process in bringing in the modifieds, much like with the limited lates, trickled down. It was thought that some of the Sport Mod drivers, an entry-level class, would buy the modifieds, the modified chassis from some of the modified drivers as the modified racers would upgrade, and it would be a way for them to sell off their machines. Same deal with the super late models and the limited lates. Of course, we all know that it doesn't work that way. Everybody goes out and buys a brand new chassis. It doesn't matter what they're racing. That's just the way these drivers roll. They'll spend $100,000 to race for $500. That's just a race car driver. But these are some really good-looking cars. The drivers do an excellent job. They put on some good shows. Great car count tonight in the Sport Mods, 29 in total. We've got Danny Hamilton Jr. He's a former track champ. I mentioned that old Bomber division that used to be here at Portsmouth Raceway Park. It was here from basically 1991 up until about 2018. Danny's a former track champ in that Bomber division, winning back in the late 90s, driving a Ford Thunderbird. Cody Price from Jackson, Ohio, he's with us tonight. We have Jimmy Lennox Jr. out of Maysville, Kentucky. Landon Barker from Chillicothe. Adam Colley, a local driver from Minford. Joshua Harrington from Chillicothe. Davey Akers from Wellston. We have Terrence Lemaster from Salyersville, Kentucky. Jamie Adams from Laurelville, Ohio is racing in the Sport Mod division tonight. Ryan McGraw from West Portsmouth. Jeremy Brady from West Portsmouth. He picked up his first ever feature win earlier this season after trying for over 20 years. He finally got it, and he's right there in the thick of the hunt as far as the points are concerned as well. He'd love to win a track championship. We have Chillicothe's Jeff Conrad with us tonight. Stevie D. Thornsberry, whom I mentioned earlier, she led out the first group. Miles Cook Jr., last night's winner from Wheelersburg, with us in the 18C. James Cox from Pedro is on the scene tonight. We also have Steve Bigley from Coolville, Ohio. Matt Watson from Batavia, Ohio. Andrew Bender, a local Scioto County driver, is here. Former track champ Luke Jordan from South Webster. He is with us tonight in the Sport Mods. Brandon Colley from Minford is with us, and that's Brandon that you see on the front straightaway with our flagman Randy Campbell underneath of his race car. Not for sure if he's trying to pick up his transponder. That seems to be the issue there. How about Randy Campbell climbing underneath the race car? It just amazes me the work that Randy puts in to ensure that these drivers are, number one, safe, and number two, that they're able to continue along. I've seen him rip and pull and tug sheet metal to try to have clearance for the tires. You just saw him crawl underneath the race car. Randy is in his mid-60s. You would never know that by looking at him. He actually still races motocross. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. He started flagging in 1978, and I told Randy not to make him feel old or anything. I was one. That was 45 years ago when Randy started flagging, and he's been here for a long time.
Right. For those at the track and watching at home wondering, so the modifieds, and I know the late models here last night, you mount the transponders on the rear axle, right?
Correct.
And in the Lucas Oil late model dirt series, it's the left front frame rail where the Dan bar meets the snout.
Yeah, and
that's where the Lucas Oil series has their transponders mounted. Of course, we've had a couple of close calls, like at Deer Creek, where we had to go back and check the transponders and the loop. I'm not gonna ask you. You know where the loop is. I won't ask you.
I have a general idea.
You have a general idea. Yeah. That's about right. That's fair enough.
But you bring up a great.
We're not gonna go there. But yeah, go ahead.
You bring up a great point as far as where the local classes have their transponders located. It's really the first one whose rear axle crosses the finish line. And the topic has come up from time to time. What if a guy with a big lead would come off of turn number 4, stall out, and the car would actually stop halfway across the start-finish line with the front of the car across and the back end of the car behind? Now, my scorers have told me that common sense would prevail in that regard. But when you've got two cars side by side, especially one of those deals where somebody's digging hard on the bottom and you got somebody riding the rim, carrying the momentum off the top, and you dive into the turns and the guy on the bottom takes the lead, and then coming off the turns, the guy on the outside moves back in front. It's been very, very close. We've not had a huge issue for a high-paying race, but you just wonder.
So have you ever had anybody come across the loop backwards, right?
No. That's a very, very cool scenario.
As soon as I say that, it'll probably happen tonight, right?
Yeah, well, and thankfully I don't think we've ever had anyone come across the start-finish line upside down either, on the last lap anyway.
I think we've seen a few of those. But that's something else. Yeah, that's interesting to note.
It is interesting. But yeah,
because some tracks have them mounted, they're, like I said, at the rear axle, some of them in the left front, like the Lucas Oil Series, and then some are at the motor plate. Up front, so it's interesting to know that.
It is interesting to know that. I think the big reason that PRP decides to have its local drivers mount the transponders on the rear axle is because you see those infield tractor tires. If they were mounted around the left front, they might wind up on those infield tractor tires before the night is through. So for the safety of the transponders, that they're by far the safest on the back axle. But that could sometimes lead to some scoring issues for sure.
Well, we've got some more modifieds for hot laps, Chuck, as the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. They'll prepare for their All-Star Performance Time Trials here in a little bit.
Yeah, they just keep rolling out on the track. As I mentioned a little earlier, James, River Days in Portsmouth celebrating its 60th year. Another really cool feature to the River Days festivities here in the Portsmouth area is that the area high schools are all involved. There are 12 schools, high schools in Scioto County, and they all have a representative who vies for the crown of Miss River Days. And earlier this week in the radio station, which is kind enough to employ me, we had the very first River Days queen, Miss 1963 from Green High School. She visited us in the studio. Still had the crown, still had the sash.
That's awesome.
And it all looked in great shape. But they had the parade earlier today. It started at 11 o'clock. I rolled into work this morning about 8:30 for our local high school football coaches show. And already at 8:30, there were people lining the streets, putting up their lawn chairs, their tents, even some people already sitting out there 2.5 hours prior to the start of the parade. But it's a big to-do here in the Portsmouth area.
Do you know how much your dad made in the first World 100? He finished fifth.
He finished fifth. I'm guessing
in the World 100. Paid $4,000 when Bruce Gould out of Milford, Ohio, won that, of course. Joe Ruttman was second. George Branscombe, who we just lost about a year or so ago, or earlier this year. Butterball Wooldridge, and then Joe Greenslade. Ironically, finished sixth in that race is Joe Stricker, who is Adam Stricker's grandpa. I'm sure he's here. Joe Greenslade, South Shore, Kentucky, right?
Yep.
$300.
$300 for that fifth place.
Fifth place in the first World 100. $300.
Wow. So we have
and that was pretty good back in 1971, right?
That's exactly right. So we have the 5th and 6th place finishers in the house tonight. My dad's here.
There you go.
Mr. Stricker's here. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Dad actually will turn 84 years old here in
and he's
16
doing
days.
Good. He's doing all right.
He's here every time the gates are open. He'll be sitting below us on the 2nd floor of the press box here in a short while if he's not already there.
Now, how long did he race?
He had 2 different stints. He said something got in the way of his race career called children. So I can maybe somewhat be to blame for his career being cut a little bit short, but he raced in the 50s. He raced a Packard in the 50s.
That's awesome.
A Packard.
That's awesome.
And then the late model that he drove that he competed with in the very first World 100 in 1971 was a 1969 Chevelle. Let's put that in perspective. You ever really thought of the name late models? Late model cars? It was a 1969 Chevelle that he drove in 1971. Can you imagine taking a 2021 model Camaro out on your local dirt track and competing on a Saturday night?
Well, you had 55, 56, 57 Chevys, you had 56 Fords, you roll into the Chevelles, and then you had the Camaros and so on and so forth. But what would if you the 84-year-old veteran out of South Shore, Kentucky, Joe Greenslate, what would his bio have read? Would that have been cool?
Yeah. You know, what his bio would have read is that he had the sharpest car at the racetrack.
And how many kids? How many brothers and sisters?
Two myself
kids.
and
how many
my
dogs
late brother.
and cats? How many alpacas?
He's had a few of those. No, Dad is,
That's awesome.
to his credit, hard-working guy. He worked 33 years at a local steel mill, swing shift that entire time, has had a body shop that opened in 1963. It's still open. He's still there every single day. 60 years old, and for most of his life, he always raised anywhere from 40 to 60 head of cattle, which he just sold those out about 6 or 7 years ago.
And that would have been in the bio.
Yeah.
When you're reading him, when he's out there and he wins a heat race or something, you would have read that in the bio if he's qualifying. Right?
As a guy who had to throw those hay bales for a large part of my life, I was not saddened at all when he decided to sell his cattle. But no, he really did take a lot of pride in his race car. Owning a body shop back in the day, it was not peel off the sheet metal and put new aluminum siding back on. They would mud it up, beat out the dents, sand it down, and paint it week to week. If that thing got dented, they fixed it.
Reminds me of Darrell Lanigan. Darrell Lanigan always had, he replaced the quarter panel of the door, right? I mean, he just, you know.
You know, they didn't have traditional Nerf bars like what you see now, not so much on late models, but a lot of the modifieds have Nerf bars on the side. They had a signpost that they used as a Nerf bar. They tack welded it on there like a molding. Well, they had one that was solid from top to bottom, had one on each side. He got into somebody or somebody got into him. It was probably Charlie Swartz, truth be told, or Delmas. But anyway, they damaged that one side of the car, and they couldn't find a Nerf bar because all the signposts, like what hold up your stop signs, had holes in them all the way down, so street workers, of course, could adjust the height of the sign. They were in North Carolina one time, and they came up to a stop sign out in the country, and, well, I think you can figure out the rest of that story.
Wow.
They brought something home that they probably shouldn't have brought home.
Did he run the screen? Remember, they used to run the screen on the front in front of the radiator, so keep mud out of there, and they ran the screen across where the windshield used to be.
He eventually went to that, and they had a piece of metal that was mounted on the hood itself to deflect some dirt. Would you believe when he first started, he actually had a glass windshield?
Yeah.
He actually had a glass windshield in a dirt car. Don't know how that worked out, but thankfully he's still here. Boy, these modifieds, the sport mods
they're still coming out.
I mean, it's awesome. It looks like we've got one straggler. This is Brandon Colley. If you recall, he was out there a little earlier. He was the one who was being checked out by flagman Randy Campbell. Evidently, those issues have been resolved, or they're bringing him out to see if his transponder is picking up, so I don't see him getting on the gas here, but hopefully everything is okay with that car and the transponder is picking up. He scored his first feature win here at PRP earlier this season. His dad, Adam Colley, is a longtime racer at PRP, currently competes in the regular modified division. We don't have the mods, the full-blown mods with us here tonight, but they were around last night for the Boone Coleman Memorial Gator 50. Ran a race that paid $1,200 to win, which was won by former track champion Jeremy Rayburn from Lucasville. His first win of the season here at PRP. Picked a good one to win last night. You know, so many of these racing families help each other. They're so interconnected. the Collies are very, very close with the Jordans. Luke Jordan, Adam Jordan, Emily Jordan, all same family. Well, Brandon and I believe his dad Adam as well both work for the Jordan family business, which is Jordan Heating and Air.
There you go.
Out of South Webster.
All right, that'll conclude Sport Mod Hot Laps. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series All-Star Performance Time Trials coming up next. And Chuck will interview the All-Star Performance Fast Qualifier overall tonight. Up first, he's a 4-time series champion, 40 career wins. He's out of Jacksonville, Florida. That'll be Earl Pearson Jr. He's in the Jason Pappage, Lucas Oil, Pappage Construction, Etchberger Trucking, Bill Stein Shocks, Sunoco Race Fuel, Sierra Pacific Materials, Midwest Sheet Metal, Loker Trucking, Millard Family Chapel, C&D Contractors and Developers Bonding entry of Earl Pearson Jr. He'll be followed by the 2-time and defending PRP Truck Champion out of Kite, Kentucky. It'll be Brandon Fouts. Brandon Fouts in the Tim Short Auto Group, K&M, Oil Field Services, TWN Motorsports, Apex Recycling, Wells Motorsports, Tahiti Energy, and Jim's Heavy Equipment Repair, Longhorn Custom, Brandon Fouts. And in the 44, the driver comes to us out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. That'll be Colton Burdett. Colton Burdett in the Dimmitt Accounting, Fordyce Heavy Equipment, Go Lithium. Number 44. Here comes Earl Pearson Jr. Again, 40 career wins. That sits 5th all time. Behind Scott Bloomquist, Jimmy Owens, Jonathan Davenport, and Don O'Neill. 4-time champion along with Jimmy Owens in the history of the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series. There's Brandon Fouts, 2-time and reigning track champion here at PRP. And Colton Burdett, the blue 44 out of Parkersburg, West Virginia. Earl Pearson Jr. first lap tonight. Pearson 15.138, Burdett 14.847, Fouts 14.955. Pearson lap 2 is 14.957. And lap 2 for Fouts a little bit quicker, 14.953. Here comes Colton Burdett. And lap number 2, not as quick as the first lap, 14.847, 1.4847 for Colton Burdett. Up next, it'll be the Stricker Streak 68, the Jim Beeman entry, the McCarter Farms, Jim Beeman Lumber, Stainless Craft, Fox Shocks, G&G Express, Rod Auto Parts, Newport Lighting Designs entry of Adam Stricker out of Batavia, Ohio, followed by the Nutrient Ag Solutions, Donna Groat Seed, Lucas Oil, Bill Stein, VP Fuels, Mark Martin Automotive, Mega Plumbing of the Carolinas, Fast Shafts, ASC Warranty, Midwest Sheet Metal for Lance and Darla Landers, Jonathan Davenport out of Blairsville, Georgia, the S21 out of Jackson, Ohio. He's in the Tim Heddle Trucking, S&D Transport. That is Seth Daniels. Seth Daniels. Stricker, fast time, 14.843. Davenport, he'll be 5th at 15.223, 1.5223. Seth Daniels, lap 1 for the S21 is 15.582. Stricker, 14.843, 1.4843. Davenport trying to improve. And JD's second lap, 71 career wins for him, 15.189, 1.5189. Seth Daniels at 15.444, 1.5444. Yes, so through through 6 cars, it's Adam Stricker at 14.843, 14.843. Up next, he is in the Big River Steel, the Coleman Farms, Hoker Trucking, Subsurface of Indiana 20 RT. Out of Martinsville, Indiana, Ricky Thornton Jr. He's followed by the Clyburn Take Lines, Professional Concrete Cutting and Drilling, Roth Heating and Cooling, Link Construction, Indiana USSA, Fast Pitch Softball, 11 of Spencer Hughes out of Marina, Mississippi. And behind him in the 58 car, he's in the Mesilla Valley Transportation, Nutrient Ag Solution, Bill Sport Shop, DoneRightTV.com, Bill Stein, Orion Tire, 58 of Garrett Alberson out of Dubuque, Iowa. Thornton is third at 14.930, 1.4930. Hughes at 15.031. Alberson sixth at 14.967. Lap 2 for Thornton, a little slower at 15.016. And lap 2 for Spencer Hughes is 15.119. And lap 2 for Garrett Alberson is 14.898. That's quicker, 1.4898. That puts him third here in this group. It's Adam Stricker, Colton Burdett, Garrett Alberson, Ricky Thornton Jr. Get those dirt draft picks in before the heat races. Here comes 4-time PRP track champion, the veteran, out of Wheelersburg, Ohio. It'll be R.J. Conley. R.J. Conley, the Conley Trucking Impact Race Gear, Conley River Terminal 71C. He is followed by the Big River Steel Lazy Days RV, CW Trucking, Car Source Auto, Red Oak Pub, 99 at Devin Moran. He's out of Dresden, Ohio. Behind him in the bulk material lift, Best Performance, Anthony's Pizza, number 1. Brand new MB Customs of Tyler Erb. Tyler Erb, the number 1. Out of New Waverly, Texas. Conley, 15,289, 15,289. Moran, 7th at 14,996. Erb is going to be 15,467, 15,467. Conley, RJ second lap, 15,210. That's 10th overall right now. Lap 2 for Moran. He'll go to 4th at 14,915, 14,915. Erb, lap 2, he'll go to 9th at 15,126, 15,126. In the first class septic, Roberts B Company, Penske Santaweld, 1. Up next should be the 21. It is in the Guardian Fence and Construction Camp Landing entry. It's Kirk Phillips out of Ashland, Kentucky. And he'll be followed by the 76, 4th in the points. These are the Garto Southern Muscle Factory, Victory Fuel, flavored electrolyte water, Clean Way, Clear, and Ready, Dirt Mafia, RW Powell, Easy Go, Warnock Technology, 76 of Brandon Overton out of Evans, Georgia, the Mega Plumbing of the Carolinas, Racing for Heroes, Bill Stein, Armslets.com, Baker Mitchell Company, Integris Risk Solutions, 39 out of Watertown, New York, Tim McCready, two-time and reigning champion of the series. Kirk Phillips, 15,299. Brandon Overton, 6th at 14,951. McCready, 13th at 15,235. Phillips, lap 2 is going to be 15,845. Lap 2 for Overton will go to 3rd at 14,849. And McCready, lap 2 will go to 10th at 15,114, 15,114. Brad Benton trucking the Aesthetic House 39. So through 15 cars, it's still Adam Stricker. The Stricker Streak 68 for Jim Beeman. Then it's Colton Burnett, Brandon Overton, Garrett Alberson, Devin Moran, your top 5. Up next will be the B1 out of Wheelersburg, Ohio. It'll be Josh Bocook. And the Cottles Trailer Sales, Worthington Signs, Gamps Lawn Equipment, McDonald's, Frank's Place Swartz, Baldwin LS Engine of the B1 of Josh Bocook. Final qualifier in Group A out of turn number 4. Brother Nick down with some engine issues, not here tonight. And lap 1's going to be 15,346, 15,346 for Bocook. That's 15th. Out of turn 4 for the Wheelersburg, Ohio driver, lap number 2. And he'll go to 13th at 15,192, 15,192. So Group A in the books. So 10th McCready, 9th Hughes, 8th Pearson, 7th Fouts, 6th Thornton, 5th Moran, 4th Alberson, 3rd Overton, 2nd Burnett. And your fastest right now at 14,843 in his first full year in a dirt late model. How about it out of Batavia, Ohio for Adam Stricker in 68. So he's the time to beat right now. If no one does that, he'll talk to Chuck Greenslade here shortly. We got Group B coming up, led out by the 2019 track champion to be Shannon Thornsberry, or Jesse Weiscarver, my bad. Jesse Weiscarver in the 55 car. He comes to us out of Zanesville, Ohio. He's the AccuForce Dynos and Testers, Altered Images, MVHC Urgent Care, Firestone Energy Services Punisher for Weiscarver. He'll be followed again by the 2019 track champion of the Brandon Mason Trucking, Warco Land Improvement, TEM Racing, Extreme Graphics, Clifford Jacobs Excavation, David A. Barker Post, 2357 Haddix, and Bill Stein out of Martin, Kentucky. That is Shannon Thornsberry. And in the excess storage, Creekside Auto Sales, Tucker Drums, Valvoline, Penske, Murphy's Law, C&J Jerry. Northeast Bus Service, Three Rivers Kearney, Privity Auto Wrecking, 111 Max Blair, the O'Reilly Auto Parts top rookie this year in the Lucas Oil late model dirt series of the 111. Weiscarver at 15,905, Thornsberry 15,337, Max Blair at 15,445, 15,445 for Blair. Weiscarver 15,488, it's quicker, still third out of 3 in Group B. Second lap time, Thornsberry 15,547. Here comes Max Blair. And Max Blair will go to the top of the chart here in Group B, 15,240, 15,240 for Max Blair. Up next, he's in the Keenan Concrete, DeVoe Construction, Deco Crete Supply, Aquatic Creations, Tony Hutt Trucking, Kryptonite. It'll be Clint Keenan out of Pataskil, Ohio. He'll be followed by the JAR Trucking, 4B Motorsports, Jude Racing, MPH. Subcontracting, field trucking, sports car, it'll be Charlie Jude. Charlie Jude out of Inez, Kentucky. And he'll be followed by the MGL Auto Sales, the Auto Outlet, Grant Lee Farms, B&L Construction, New Point Lighting and Design, Innovative Community Solutions, JR Motor Sales, All Trucks Repair, Longhorn by Wells for James Ratliff, Dalton Wilson out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Clint Keenan third, 15.343, 15343. Charlie Jude at 15.744, 15744. Here comes Dalton Wilson, led 43 laps here last night, and he's fast. Time Group B, 14.905, 14905 for Wilson. Lap 2 for Keenan is 15.330. It's quicker, still third. Lap 2 for Charlie Jude, it's quicker, and he's still sixth at 15.496. And Dalton Wilson, his first lap will be quicker. Lap 2 is going to be 15.946, 15946. So Dalton Wilson quickest right now, 14.905. Still Adam Stricker at 14.843, still quickest overall. Up next will be the 7 car out of Georgetown, Delaware. That'll be Ross Robinson, followed by the 13W out of Nicholasville, Kentucky. It'll be David Webb. And then the 10, the defending dirt track world champion out of Eatonton, Georgia. That is Garrett Smith. Ross Robinson, the Stokely Materials Iron Source. Sales and Rentals, Sandy, the Frozen Farmers, ML Joseph, Sand and Gravel, Hard Scrabble, Wesley Collins, Top Notch Custom Cabinets, Atlantic Prime Mortgage, First State Roof and Exterior, Penske, Boswell Oil, Winter, Wells Motorsports. Robinson second at 15.227, 15227. David Webb second in the points in Brownstown, 15.626, 15626 in the Marine Auto Works. RS Odie's Rod Shop, Pecco, Bluegrass Radiator, Slicker Graphics, Longhorn for Webb and Garrett Smith. 15.158 on lap 1. Lap 2 for Robinson is 15.080. Quicker still second. David Webb, lap 2 is going to be 15.432. Quicker seventh. And Garrett Smith, lap 2 is 15.119. It's quicker and third here in Group B. So it's Dalton Wilson, Ross Robinson, Garrett Smith. Garrett Smith in the Terminal Maintenance Construction, Atlanta Paving and Concrete, the world-famous Cadillac Ranch, Basefield, Senior Life Insurance, Go Lithium 10. Up next will be the 00, R.J. Conley's son-in-law to Wheelersburg, Ohio, to be Justin Cooper in the Conley Trucking, Tanner's Truck Service, Fox Shocks, Maynard Racing, followed by the 99B at Bear Lake, Pennsylvania, the Murphy's Logging Access Storage, Corey Rubber, Brendan Hartwood's Valvoline, Boom Briggs, and the 1, the Valvoline, Sorbet Calf Ranches, Ace Metal Works, Gunners, Honey Petro Towing Entry. It's Hudson O'Neill out of Martinsville, Indiana. Justin Cooper at 16.552, 16552, Boom Briggs. First lap is going to be 15.274. Here comes O'Neill second in the points. O'Neill's first lap, 15.017. That's second in Group B. Lap 2 for Cooper's 15.274. Boom will go to fifth at 15.211. And Hudson O'Neill, fast time Group B, 14.896. Still not quickest overall, but quickest in Group B. 14.896 in the WR1 Sim Chassis. O'Neill Salvage and Recycling, Sunoco Integra Performance Grading, 1. So it's Hudson O'Neill, Dalton Wilson, Ross Robinson, Garrett Smith right now, your top 4. Up next, 10th at Port Royal last week. Ease in the Gunners Honey, Clary's Used Cars, Pro Fabrication, Blue Ridge Treescape Service, 3 Aces Sweet Shop, Renegade Race Fuels, Masters Built by MB, Broadneck Shaker 89, Logan Robertson. He's out of Waynesboro, Virginia, followed by the 71R car in the Conley Trucking. Shane Custom Decals, Conley River Terminal Rocket. That'll be Rod Conley out of Wheelersburg, Ohio. Logan Robertson, 15.352, 15352. Rod Conley at 15.508, 15508. Logan Robertson, the 89. Again, a solid run last week at Port Royal. He'll go to 8th here at PRP at 15.296, 15296. And lap 2 for Rod Conley. He'll go to 9th in Group B at 15.320, 15320. So no time, and he had problems in hot laps. Hopefully he'll be in for a heat race. Chase Fronapple out of Canal, Winchester, Ohio, did not qualify here tonight out of the 31 entries. So Group B, Hudson O'Neill, 14.896. Dalton Wilson second, then Ross Robinson, Garrett Smith, Boom Briggs, Max Blair, Justin Cooper 7, Logan Robertson, and then Rod Conley and Clint Keenan, your top 10 here in Group B. But that will do it. 14.843 for the first time in his career in his first full year in a dirt late model. The modified hot shoe from just down the road in Batavia, Ohio. The new Stricker Streak 68. How about it for Adam Stricker? your fastest overall here tonight at 14.843 for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series here at All-Star Performance Time Trials. Driving for Jim Beeman, of course, longtime car owner in dirt late model racing, former driver as well. And Chuck, you've seen Adam Stricker race here at PRP. We've seen him win a lot of modified races. Can he get his first career win in a late model tonight here in the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series at PRP?
He'll be $15,000 richer if he can. Wouldn't that be somewhat of a story? The guy has proven over the years that he can drive, and good drivers can typically drive anything, but there's such a difference between modifieds and late models, the horsepower, the size of the tires, the handling. So it will be interesting to sit back and watch, but so far his day couldn't have gotten off to a better start. And you know, we've seen so many drivers over the years make that move from modifieds to late models. Devin Gilpin comes to mind, Jimmy Owens. But here comes the man of the moment, tonight's quick qualifier. Just down the road in Batavia, for folks who don't know, that's a suburb of the Cincinnati area. About a 2-hour drive from here in Portsmouth. He has been here many times over the years in his modified, but he is making some noise here tonight in his super late model. He's made his way into winner's circle. He'd love to be up on the stage a little bit later tonight. As he climbs out the window of the car, let's have all the PRP faithful give him a big round of applause. Adam Stricker. Adam, you've been here so many times in your modified. You're getting the hang of this late model, to say the least. How does it feel to come out here and set quick time and get this evening started in this manner?
It means a lot, man. We, raced the north-south there the last time we've been out, and obviously Jim had some family deal there to go on, and an unfortunate deal. He lost his daughter-in-law due to cancer, so we took a few weeks off just to give him some time around, with his family. So this is for him. I know he stuck his neck out for me so much, and obviously this is a dream of mine to be able to make it in late model racing and one step closer.
You've put in so many laps around the area and at this track in a modified. Are there any pointers or any lessons that you can take from modified racing that apply to super lates?
Yeah, everyone. I mean, a little bit. It's no question that obviously I struggle here in my modified a little bit, and but seem to do really well in the late model. I think it suits my driving style a little bit better in these late models. Obviously, the modified stuff, you got to drive so straight, and these things you got to be a little bit sideways. They got enough motor to pull you around there, so I think this place fits my driving style a little bit better in the super than it does the mod. But nonetheless, I'm super pumped. Man, this is a huge accomplishment in my career. I mean, I know it's just quick time, but man, it means a lot to me. I mean, I don't have a big late model background, just a great family behind me and people that's willing to never give up on me.
Obviously, the track is going to change a lot throughout the course of the evening. What do you do between now and your heat race with this car?
There's not really a whole lot. I mean, obviously, you can tell the track's got some traction in it still, and being that, we're going to be in one of the first few groups here, starting up front, just try to